Assalamu alaikum friends and welcome back to the course. In this bonus video, you are going to learn about Scratch programming or explorative programming. Let's get started. So Scratch refactoring or explorative refactoring is a concept or practice denoted by Michael Feathers in his awesome book Working Effectively with Legacy Code. And this practice will help us understand some of the code of the legacy code, of course. So if you remember when we refactored that thing about type format utils, if you remember, the code were pretty complex to understand. But once we started doing small refactoring, small steps, we end up understanding the code, right? So if you remember, this code were pretty complex to understand. If you remember, it was something like the following. Let me just paste it here. It was like that. Let me do an F here. So what we did actually to end up in this code, it was pretty simple thing. We wanted just to explore it, right? So the first thing, instead of doing is none, we just removed that. And instead of doing it here, we did it basically here. Is none, like the following. This is pretty simple thing. We also removed the brackets here, right? And then we asked what is this time is about. Okay, so we are just putting the time in here. And then we are fixing the range. So what we did is actually pretty simple thing. Renaming variables, extracting function, removing the clutter, and removing certain comments. And with this approach, we were able to understand this code. Now, in the practice of Scratch refactoring, once you complete the refactoring to understand something, you simply scratch this refactoring or you delete it, right? You start from zero. But actually, you are not starting from completely zero. You are starting from an understanding about this code, right? Here, we didn't remove that code. It was working fine. And also, it's elegant and understandable. Simply, you are fixing the range, getting the minute and the hours, and then formatting the time base if it is 1 digit and non-1 digit. And basically, all of this function and this abstraction about this format time, we got it after doing certain refactoring, right? If we didn't remove those comments and structuring the code, right? Sometimes you will split function, find good names, for example, find good abstraction. And by doing that, you understand that legacy code. So really, Scratch refactoring is good practice to understand complex code. It's kind of a way to remove the fear from that code. So whenever you see something that big, you see, well, this is too complex to understand. But once you start digging into, like, this is hours in this two thing, so it means it is in 1 digit. I could create a function that represents is in 1 digit, and this one will help me understand the code much better. And you find some kind of duplication, you start refactoring that so you can understand the code. So this is really it. Scratch refactoring is about understanding that complex code and dealing with the elephant in the room problem. Because sometimes we fear that code if it is that long, if it has so much complexity. So by having such practice, you can gain confidence in order to understand some complex code. So the next time when you are facing some complex code in your legacy base, start by refactoring, restructuring, moving parts in the code, having good names, having good abstraction, splitting function, having good names for those functions, so you can understand the overall picture, and then you can keep that code, or as Michael Feathers say, just discard it and start again, because now you understand how this code works. Okay, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks a lot and see you in the upcoming videos.